So my father grew up in Brooklyn, went to City College in New York, kind of a classic story of that era. He was just a little bit too young for the Second World War. Lucky him. And so then my aunt, Nancy's mom, Ann, she had come to California and maybe already met Nelson, I don't know. But anyway, because she was Ann Blackman, she knew everyone. Somehow she was the one who got my dad to come to go to graduate school in operations research at Stanford. And I don't know how close he was to Ann. They were 9 years apart in age. Ann was much older. But he loved Stanford, just like my mother, because he'd come from cold, dirty, dark Brooklyn, and suddenly he's in, Palo Alto.
I was working at the VA hospital.
But he was working also.
Oh, he was working for SRI.
But they had an office in San Francisco.
They did at that point. It didn't last very long.
No.
But he was living and working in San Francisco.
Who connected you up?
A friend of mine that I'd worked with in a lab.
And she knew someone who knew Dad.
Something. I don't remember the details, but she
was
was the one who connected us. I got a call from a guy who said he'd been given my name by a mutual friend.
Ooh,
That's the way it works with blind dates, isn't it? So then he called and introduced himself, and we had a dinner date.
When he went out on dates, he'd carry 3 little cards in his pocket with lists of restaurants, the A list, the B list, and the C list. And based on his first impression, he would then say, let's go out to eat. And he'd pull out the A card or the B card or the C card, and my mother got the A list. So
we went out for dinner and chatted. Did the regular thing with people who were just meeting. Do they know any of the same people? And, what do you do when you just meet somebody? What do you do for a living? And so forth.
So they go on this date, and I guess my father has whatever amount of money in his pocket that he thinks is suitable for a first date. And then this is it. She's it. This is the woman. I don't have enough money. We can't go dancing.
Oh, I paid for dinner. You're right. I had forgotten that. He forgot to bring money or something like that. He was not terribly consistent, I would say. But that's right, I paid. But he paid me back. In fact, we went home to my house, but by way of where he lived, so he could pay me back right away. Because he was very honorable, just not very consistent. Well, the fact is, I was stunning.
You were.
I was brilliant, I was fun, blah, blah, blah.
She was Jewish, but she wasn't Jewish, and that was perfect.
We had another date for something, and another date after that. And at this point, I say that he proposed on that third date, but he always claimed he proposed on the second one. So we never sorted that out, except I was right. I don't know, he said, will you marry me? And I said, I'm not sure exactly how I put it, but in my own mind, I knew I was going to say yes, but I didn't want to say it right away, because he had a very strong personality, and I didn't want him running my life too soon. So we met in the summer, and we were married in December, so the whole thing didn't take so long. Well, the thing is, we were both in our late 20s by then. So we didn't think we had a lot of time to waste. We kept very busy planning the wedding.
The wedding is this famous Sunday in San Francisco. Was it at Dottie's house in Clarendon Heights?
Yeah, the marriage was at Dottie's house. So she was nervous about a wedding, and it took us a while to talk about it, but we decided to have the ceremony at her house. We didn't have the party there, though.
No.
We had the party someplace at a club and down in the marina.
The yacht club.
Yeah, the yacht club. And not that there was any yachting going on, it was just a big room to rent. We had a great crowd of people there.
Oh, I thought it wasn't so big. So, small ceremony.
The ceremony, we just, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 people total.
So your sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And Dottie. And Ann Blackman and Nelson, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably all.
And maybe you had a maid of honor, or...
And Laporte.
So, and then he forgot something, Dad. He left something in the car.
Oh, ho, ho. We couldn't get married. We didn't have the license. He had left it with his things, which were parked over in the marina. My mother lived the other side of town, so we all sat and waited while he drove. He was away 45 minutes maybe or so, while all the rest of us waited for him to come back with the license. I was in Dottie's bedroom, and there was somebody there, maybe it was Cantor Rinder, who kept saying, there, there, you know, it's all right.
The San Francisco 49ers were playing the Detroit Lions in the NFL championship game. There was a lot of cheering and a lot of parking problems. And
Something like that, maybe.
It was on TV, but they could hear everybody cheering because her house was just above Kezar.
Oh, that's right. She lived up the hill from Kezar, and there was a game going on.
the joke is that when my father said "I do," the crowd erupted, and yeah.
So, despite the hiccup, you got married.
We definitely, it was a very tense sort of thing, because Cantor Rinder, who was going to perform the ceremony, had another wedding that afternoon, and we were keeping him from getting to it.
So finally, you're officially married.
And poor old Cantor Rinder had to go flying off.
So you all got in your cars and drove down to the yacht club, and then you had a big party.
Right.
Was there a band?
I don't think so. There was a lot of good food. My friends, you know, from my whole lifetime, and cousins and so forth.
And Izzy and Sarah. And
Certainly.
did you actually get in a car and drive away with the cans on the back of the car?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I don't know with cans, but we did have a sort of a raucous departure. Anyway, it all turned out all right. And the marriage lasted